Hello everyone, this is TheSC here, and I am back with some more Starcraft 2 action, and this time I am actually about as excited gets. It is going to be between WhiteRa, our red Protoss, spawning down in the bottom left side, and in the top right side, it is going to be Game of Drones, also known as the Little One. They're asking each other, are you going to IPL? The Little One is going to say, oh boy, as WhiteRa is indeed going to be there. Alexi in Vegas. Yes, for those of you who don't know, WhiteRa's real name is Alexi, which is like the coolest, most baller name ever. And this is a series. Now, I know in the past, I've said in a lot of different series that, you know, I'm really excited, I can't wait, etc. But this is a series where it is as excitable as it gets. I have cast WhiteRa versus the Little One many times in the past, but it never ceases to amaze me. Both these players have been practicing a ton for these tournaments. I know for a fact that WhiteRa has been streaming like crazy. The Little One has been recovering from his injuries. Not really injuries, but he did have an issue with his wrists, and for a while there, it really affected his play, but from what I've heard, he's completely recovered from that. He's been taking care of his mind and body and been practicing a lot, and he also has one hell of an epic beard. If you guys haven't seen the Little One beard recently, definitely go and Google it. Does look like Little One saying, I'm coming to IPL, I think. WhiteRa says, good. I cannot imagine the epicness of being in the same room as WhiteRa and the Little One. Actually, I can, because I have had it happen, and it is insanely awesome. Looks like WhiteRa got to be going for a gateway on the low ground, and I'm going to be honest, I like this. I love this from WhiteRa. Anytime that you cannot put down the forge on an expand, I think it is awesome. When I play, which of course I'm not anywhere near WhiteRa's level, but when I play, I prefer to do the gateway expand as compared to the cannon expand. Now, the cannon expand is a little bit safer. It allows you to play more defensively. You can also punish a hatch first build if you can hide those cannons behind the mineral line, and also allows you to hold off Zergling run-bys, things like that. WhiteRa deciding to go for the Cyber Core right after gateway. I really like this out of him. This is, especially since he's scouting around the main base, he's going to see exactly what is going on, knows that there's no Zergling threat whatsoever. He does decide to go for the Cyber Core before Nexus, which you can kind of do it either way. But I'm curious to see how WhiteRa plays this out, because this is a build that I wish more Protoss would do. I wish they would experiment with this more instead of just relying on the Forge, which gets your gateway out super duper late. Did I just use super duper in a cast? My god, what is happening to me? It does look like the probe and the drone going to engage here. This is indeed the game of drones, but is it going to be enough? Oh, I love that line every single time. But the probe will run away, begin regenerating its shields, and if the Little One gets too excited with his drone, he will lose a straight-up battle, as that probe does have more HP now. Could turn around and begin attacking if he decides to. I think that that would be a good idea. He has ran the drone all the way away from home, and he doesn't decide to attack it, actually, as the Zerglings are going to be moving out here now. May intercept that probe, and the Zealot right here are going to be chasing around the Lings all day, but I feel like the Zealot is kind of like the old man. He's like, get off my watchtower, and he's hobbling around trying to catch all these pesky little kids on their scooter bikes. And it does look like the probe has died. All these Zerglings have taken a hit or two. The Stalker, though, going to be coming into town to clean everything up. It does look like the Little One going to try and retreat here. I think this is the smart choice. Grab that watchtower, might as well leave those there to try and intercept reinforcements, and this is why I love this build, is you get out these two units right away. It forces the Zerg player to make a lot of Zerglings. 8 Zerglings are forced to be made right here, plus the ones he already has, which are going to be running back here to reinforce this, but attacking with your first Stalker and first Zealot is so good. I highly recommend doing this as Protoss. Even if you don't kill all that much, you can usually keep the Stalker alive, plus you force the Zerg to make a lot of Zerglings, and WhiteRa deciding to take a lot of damage on this Stalker. Almost loses it there as the Little One did attempt to get a surround. He's got to go for it again. He does trap the Stalker there, and may trap this other Stalker on top of it if he's not able to micro here correctly. But Stalkers, they can dance all day versus these Lings. He does take a couple of hits, but should be able to clean up these 3 Zerglings, and he is attempting to focus fire down the weakened Lings as best he can. And yeah, just make sure to shoot it right there, and he should be able to kill those other 2 or force the retreat. And this is why I love this build out of WhiteRa. It lets you put on the pressure, forces the Zerg to play defensive, and it kind of puts him on a back foot a little bit. I highly recommend Protoss out there. Definitely give something like this a try. You might be surprised how effective it actually is versus Zergs, because they're used to double expanding right away, which the Little One still has managed to do, as he does have that hatchery on the way. But look how many kills the Stalker is up to. 6 kills on that one Stalker. Gets a 7th one right there. May end up getting taken out. Can these Zerglings manage to intercept it? It's all about angles. I'm doing the math in my head. But it does look like the Stalker may survive for now. It is beginning to regenerate its shields, but the Zerglings are so ridiculously close. Not going to catch that one in time, maybe, as the Zergling speed is nowhere near completion. At least not near enough to finish this Stalker off. And the Zerglings are going to have to turn around, or Force Field will trap them. And he cannot afford to lose all those Zerglings right now because he's already lost 12 lings. The resources lost is almost identical. In fact, it is identical right there. But you got to remember, for a Zerg player, you want to do a big wave of drones before this point in the game. We do see the first big wave of drones out of Game of Drones, also known as TheLittleOne. So he is doing 11 drones at a time, but during that time, WhiteRa already has 2 gateways. He's adding on 3 more, and that means, of course, the total's up to 5, but this is exactly the build he wanted to go. Got to be throwing down pylons as well. He could be putting on some pressure here. And something you don't see nearly as much from Protoss is these early mass warp gate timings here, but he's feeling confident that he can do some damage with this, and if the TheLittleOne makes too many drones, then this will cause a lot of damage. But one thing that Zerg players have learned is that you can indeed lose a lot of drones and still be okay if you time everything out. Although it looks like, is WhiteRa going to expand here, or is he going to go for an attack? This is a lot of sentries on the ground, so not much minerals invested, but definitely a ton of gas. That's why you don't see any tech out of him at all. You could see him start making stalkers to back this up, as you do not want to reinforce sentries with more sentries, because then you don't have an army that does any damage. But he is going to put on the pressure now. May intercept some Overlords here. I don't think the TheLittleOne was expecting this at all. These units did slip on by. One Overlord goes down. He is not supply blocked yet. But if he loses 1 or 2 more Overlords, he absolutely will be. And the Tickle Cannon's long enough to take it out. The drones pulled off the line, and they do get a nice surround here, but with a lot of force fields, not too much. WhiteRa can do it. The pylon on the low ground, he's found a perfect stronghold here to take out a ton of drones. That was a big mistake by the TheLittleOne. Is indeed going to lose a massive amount of drones. Looking at the units tab here, 43 drones of 47, and that's significant considering that he early expanded. He made a couple waves of drones. And WhiteRa has definitely evened the playing field. He does have a Warp Prism on the way. WhiteRa wants to save this pylon if possible, but that Zealot, being a total boss, takes out 5 lings by himself. The Stalkers do reinforce this as well, so WhiteRa off to an early lead. We do have a couple Roaches moving out here, though, but Stalkers pretty good versus Roaches, especially with force fields, and unfortunately for the TheLittleOne, just getting picked apart by this build. He does take out 1 of the sentries. Actually, several of the sentries have been lost, but you can just see the units lost here is devastating for the TheLittleOne right now. He's going to kill off that pylon, so no more reinforcements for this attack, but the hatchery is going to fall. Not enough energy to finish off the ramp with the force fields, but it does look like WhiteRa needs to focus down the hatchery, and he will indeed be able to get it, but he will lose all of these units. So if at the end of the day, was this attack worth it? As a Protoss player, I'm thinking yes, but as our Zerg player, yeah, he's probably thinking yes as well. Looking at the units lost, 4,000 to 2,800. He will clean up these last 2 Stalkers, should be cost effective. A sentry is up here as well, if the TheLittleOne realizes it. While the WhiteRa is trying to hide it there. I just called him the WhiteRa, which is true. He is indeed the WhiteRa. We'll see if this sentry behind enemy lines can stay alive. I'm not sure if the TheLittleOne realizes it's up there. It is very well hidden. Now, what does the TheLittleOne have planned? Well, he does have double Evo chambers, was only able to start the armor attack. Does have the second one on the way, though, so his units are going to be resilient, but not dealing as much damage as they potentially could. We got the +1 attack nearly done for WhiteRa. He is supply blocked, though, for this Colossus. This is buying valuable time for the TheLittleOne. The sentry is still up here. He is so nervous. If he wasn't a robot, he would be shivering in his non-existent boots, because how do these guys move, actually? Never quite figured that one out, but we do have the 3rd base back up for Game of Drones, or at least it is on the way. His creep spread, not that bad, but he really needs to focus on other things at this point, because quite frankly, creep spread at this point in the game is one of the least important things. He is going to be dropping down here once again. Looking at the units tab, 46 drones to, how many probes? 49 probes. So WhiteRa being very active with this Warp Prism, may fly down here and pick up the sentry. I feel like we're watching some sort of war movie where this is flying around behind the enemy lines, does pick up the sentry, and is going to go ahead and skedaddle on out of there. I don't know why I'm using all these ridiculous words in this cast. Probably because I'm so giddy for the fact that we're watching WhiteRa versus the TheLittleOne. It does look like the Warp Prism may indeed do what it does best, and that is warp in more units. No, he decides to cancel it. It's that the Roaches are approaching. The Roaches are coming. The Roaches are coming, as the Warp Prism now going to be flying into this expansion. The Queen is in position to defend against it. Should attack the Warp Prism most likely, but the Queen gets trapped. by the force fields. That queen is going to go down. No, she's somehow squeezing through and transfuses on the roach. It was her last dying wish. Almost squeezed through there, but the force field was able to save it, and the Zealot's able to clean out a roach, as you do need to micro those a little bit. Moving back and forth with this warp prism just being so annoying, and it's going to continue warping in units here, and really he can afford to do this because the big push is the important thing, and the Colossus is on the high ground. This is not looking good for the little one. After that initial attack, he was never able to recover, but he does have a supply lead. It's just a lot of that is in roaches, and when you only have roaches versus this beefy Colossus with a +1 attack, it's going to be tough to win that engagement, but the little one's going to do everything he can. He wants to buy as much time as he can, waiting for that +2 melee attack to finish, as he did decide, I guess, to go for the melee attack rather than the ranged attack. Did kill another sentry right there. Oh, those Zerglings just massacring his own kind in the back of his base, warping in a big wave of Zealots. At the same time, WhiteRa is pushing out in the center. I can't imagine the little one holding on for much longer here unless he can snipe this Colossus. It is a little bit out of position, and it does get away. Very easy to save that Colossus in that situation. As long as WhiteRa was watching, then that is A-okay for him. But right now, not looking good for the little one. He does have a lot of units inside of his main base. That early timing attack was just perfect. The drones are so pissed at this Colossus, chasing it up onto the high ground, and there's the GG. Once the drones couldn't kill that Colossus, then, you know, the little one had no choice but to GG out of this game. It really came down to the very early pressure with the first Zealot, first 2 Stalkers, and also just doing, I would say, a brilliant timing with these warp gates, and then he, you know, teched on the back of that because he did enough damage there, and then followed it up with a big Colossus push. And really, I think the pivotal point was right here when he force fielded all the drones and trapped them. That was pretty much it for it. The little one was not able to recover there. So good play by WhiteRa. We are going to move on to game number 2. This is a best-of-7 show match between these 2 outstanding players. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.